This is part 2 of the anime recap series we are going to watch. Link to part 1 is in the description box and the comments section. As the town of Zetsuya and the guild was destroyed, Makoto must re-register as a merchant in the next closest town called Sige. This makes Makoto a bit frustrated, and he tricks Tomoe into training alone in the wilderness, while he travels to Sige with Mio and the other adventurers. Mio and Makoto easily kill the monsters they encounter in their way, which Toa and the group harvest for their valuable parts, including the rare ruby eyes. After re-registering in Sige and picking out an S-rank mission, Makoto celebrates at a restaurant with the adventurers, Louisa, the elven archer, Hazal, the human alchemist, Ranina the dwarf priest knight, and Toa, a dark thief. Makoto decides to sell the ruby eyes to the Rembrandt Trading Company, but he is warned by Toa that Rembrandt has a bad reputation of mistreating the adventurers. On returning to his village, Emma reports about the progress of the town to Makoto. The Alkei are settling in the mountains, the dwarves have begun constructing buildings, and the mist lizards are creating farmland, while the orcs have begun constructing a castle for Makoto. Meanwhile, Makoto worries about Tomoe since she has been gone for a long time. After that, Makoto is taken to test out new outfits, and among all the flashy ones, he chooses the raincoat outfit made by the dwarf, Rugi, to further suppress his aura, and also has both attacking and defensive properties. But his magic is too powerful and quickly destroys the outfit. After that, Makoto meets Haruna, Akina, Hokuto, and Minato of Mio's clan, and they can now transform into human forms similar to Mio. While discussing, Makoto discovers that magical ingredients grown in the demi-plane are more potent than normal, but nevertheless, our girl, Mio, likes it. Makoto then takes the ruby eyes to the Rembrandt mansion, but to his surprise, he is immediately rejected, and finds the owner difficult to deal with. The owner, Patrick Rembrandt, is dismissive of the fact that a rank E, level 1 adventurer, could take on a mission of killing the ruby ants, but he is shocked to see the ruby eyes, and quickly apologizes to Makoto. When asked about the purpose of the ruby eyes, he happily reveals that the eyes make ambrosia, an all-cure medicine, for his wife, and his daughters, who are suffering from a cursed disease. Patrick is shocked when he finds Makoto has enough eyes to cure everyone in his family. After successfully completing the job, Makoto goes to register as a merchant, where he learns that he needs to give an exam for it. Makoto passes the written exam easily to the shock of the teacher, as it is just basic middle school mathematics. The second test is to gather 4 dangerous items, but he takes advantage of the rule that he can substitute items of equal value, and substitutes the ruby ants, which surprises the teacher again. Makoto returns to the demi-plane, where he plans to set up a hidden portal, to trick the traveling merchants and adventurers into thinking the demi-plane as a hidden city, and start trading for demi-plane items, thus creating a demand for demi-plane products. Tomoe suddenly contacts Makoto, shouting that there is something wrong with Mio. Makoto rushes to her, and sees them fighting over something. Not able to understand the situation, he asks the Alki standing nearby, and realizes that Mio has become addicted to his memories of anime and children's cartoons. Later at night, Tomoe and Mio are confused when Makoto chooses to sleep alone rather than pick one of them, and they decide to come up with a seduction plan. Next morning, Hazal agrees to Makoto's request to help brew the ambrosia, while the adventurers watch Makoto and decide to gather as many adventurers as they can, to stop whatever Patrick is doing with Makoto. Although Hazal is a bit nervous, he brews the ambrosia, with a little bit of help from Makoto. After the completion of the potions, Makoto is able to restrain Patrick's wife, Lisa, who has become a monster, and Patrick successfully administers the ambrosia. Since Patrick is heavily injured, Makoto goes in by himself and restrains both of the daughters one by one. He is successful in administering the ambrosia and curing both of Patrick's daughters. After completing the mission, Makoto returns to Tomoe and Mio, and are about to return to the demi-plane, when they are attacked by the adventurer, Lime Latte, and his allies that have gathered to fight them. A fight begins and Tomoe fights all of them by herself, and defeats all 200 of the enemies pretty easily. After getting obliterated, Lime agrees to give up, and confessed that he only wanted to put a sleeping curse on Lisa and her daughters, as a revenge for Patrick, preventing adventurers who disobey him, and not finding any further work due to which, many of them later died on quests too dangerous for them to handle. And he honestly has no idea why the witch doctor actually cursed them into becoming monsters. Lime apologizes to Patrick, who decides to forgive him, but Lime decides to retire from adventuring. Tomoe later visits the orphanage where she finds Lime, and gives him a katana forged by the dwarves, and hires him to be a spy for her, in return for huge amounts of gold coins, and Lime agrees. Upon returning to the demi-plane, Emma informs Makoto that yet another problem has begun. The warriors in Makoto's village are scared about training, and Makoto learns that during the training he overwhelms them so completely that they lose their self-confidence. He also realizes that different species don't train together in order to hide their powers and tactics from each other. Therefore, he arranges weekly competitions, encouraging them to strengthen themselves by training together. After the problem was solved, Mio and Tomoe re-register as adventurers at the guild, and they are immediately asked to train adventurers in order to replace Lime Latte in his group, since their absence creates a problem for the town. Makoto chooses Toa and her group, since they are over level 100, and asks Tomoe to train them. Tomoe is troubled since she knows that Toa resembles the girl from Japan, and worries about the fact that Makoto misses his former life. Tomoe puts Toa and her team through a brutal training regime of using their skills and properly fight as a team. After she is confident, she orders them to test their new abilities by defeating a nest of 208 monsters, and proving them to be the strongest adventuring team of that town. Meanwhile, Makoto decides to collect ambrosia flowers, the flowers eaten by the ruby ants, that makes their eyes valuable, and orders Mio to collect it from the Tinnarak forest. After that, he goes to rent a shop space from Patrick, who realizes that Makoto wants to rent, since buying a shop would bring him to the attention of the Sige Kingdom, who would ask him to spy on Patrick. Therefore, Patrick agrees to arrange a shop space for Makoto, in a neutral city, which is not allied to any kingdom. The villagers throw a party to celebrate for Makoto, on opening his first trading company. During the celebration, Akina informs that they have located ambrosia flowers in the Tinnarak forest, but decided not to harvest any, as they are protected by the elves. While they were discussing, Mio and Tomoe sense Makoto's death repeatedly, and they rush out to find him, but see him doing normal archery training. Tomoe deduces that, when Makoto clears his mind to focus on the target, he unintentionally merges with the environment, and dies for a split second, which feels to Tomoe and Mio as if he has committed suicide. This has caused his mana to increase to the level of gods, and if it continues, the goddess who banished him to the wasteland will see him as a rival, and try to kill him. At night, when Makoto returns to the human world, he is approached by a prostitute, but he is dragged away by the ever-furious Mio and Tomoe. They declare that they are tired of waiting for him to grow up, and will have their way with him immediately, but Makoto panics, and flees through a mist portal. The next morning, Mio apologizes for her and Tomoe's behavior for the last night, so Makoto invites her to help negotiate with the elves, on the matter of ambrosia flowers. We see other adventurers also appearing to steal the flowers, and this causes the elves to attack immediately. Makoto teleports the adventurers to the demi-plane, using the help of Tomoe's mist. He defeats the elves pretty easily, with the help of Mio, and makes peace with the elves named Aqua and Eris. After that, Makoto meets Nilgestori and other elders of the Ogre Forest. When the meeting ended, Makoto meets Aqua and Ares' master, Mondo, who is a powerful warrior. But he was blown away by Mio, out of jealousy, when he tries to touch Makoto's hands. Under the orders of Makoto, Mio keeps a watch on Mondo, and she suspects that Mondo is possessed by someone, just as she overhears a telepathic conversation between Adano and an unknown person talking about demons. Later, a spirit of the Elder Lich frees itself from Mondo's body and drains the life force from Adano, killing him, since he was associated with demons. Makoto identifies it as a lich, but since the lich is no match to his powers, Makoto easily defeats and captures it. Upon arriving, Tomoe reveals to Nilgestori that she was the dragon who created the mist barrier at his request many years ago, and he should bow down to his master, that is Makoto. Back at Makoto's village, the lich explains he accidentally became this monster, while trying to become a Grant, a human that can freely travel between alternate worlds like a god. To which Tomoe reveals that he has the wrong idea about becoming a Grant. Grants aren't humans who could travel to another world. They are normal humans who accidentally traveled to the other world alive, and thus earned the title of Grant. Realizing he has wasted his entire life on an impossible goal, the lich happily accepts Tomoe's suggestion of forming a contract with Makoto and teaching him about magic. Forming a contract transforms the lich into a young and attractive man. Just then, a magical explosion occurs in the village, causing Tomoe to collapse. Makoto and Lich both use healing magic, and they are somehow able to heal the injured villagers. On examining the memory fragments of the adventurer, Makoto sees that she and her comrades attempted to steal magical items, and when guards intervened, one of the rings full of Makoto's magic exploded, killing Tomoe's fragment and an orc. Makoto follows the girl in a rage, looking like an actual demon with no emotion, and coldly kills the prostitute in revenge. After the funeral for the dead civilians that got caught up in the explosion, Makoto learns from Shiki, the lich, that Makoto was able to see the girl's memories, because memory viewing is one of Tomoe's powers, and a sign that they trust each other implicitly. And this makes Mio a bit jealous. After this, Makoto visits Patrick, who has arranged for Makoto's shop space in the neutral town of Rotsgard Academy. Makoto prepares to visit the academy to learn more about the world, the goddess, and humans. As he may be gone for a long time, he takes only Shiki with him since he is more knowledgeable about magic and people, and gives Mio and Tomoe some more memories as gifts. Just as they prepare to teleport, the goddess locates Makoto and tampers with his teleportation, sending him to a distant battlefield where two demon warriors attack him and sever two of his fingers. The two warriors known as Sophia Bulga, one of the strongest adventurers of this world, and Mitsurugi, the superior dragon she became famous for supposedly killing. They reveal that they have joined the demon army in order to destroy humanity, and an intense fight begins between them, and Makoto tries hard to hold them off. Instead of going berserk, he tries to make them understand the situation, and make them believe that he is not their enemy. But his requests fall on deaf ears, as Sophia and Mitsurugi keep attacking him. Getting agitated, Makoto removes a piece of mana-suppressing equipment, overwhelming Mitsurugi with his magic, by firing powerful water magic, using a special arrow made by the Elder Dwarves. He is also successful in shattering Sophia's legendary sword using the same arrow. As the final attack, Makoto uses up all of his magic sealing rings, and launches a powerful blow, defeating both of his enemies, as well as annihilating the entire area. Makoto then manages to teleport away using the mist, leaving Mitsurugi and Sophia barely alive. Shiki believes that the goddess used Makoto to destroy the army and may still be watching them. After this, Tomoe reveals that she created another fragment, and Makoto names her Kamoi. Makoto finally opens a shop, which is an instant success. He later learns that, after he teleported away, the demon army and human army did massive damage to each other, and that 2 other heroes that the goddess summoned also took part in that battle. Like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video so far. Don't forget to comment us your thoughts about this anime series. For more such amazing content, check out this video.